There is a new and violent push by ISIS to gain more ground in northeastern Syria. Kurdish and Christian militiamen are locked in fierce fighting today with ISIS in the area where the militants just kidnapped dozens of Christians. One estimate puts that at 150. John Huddy joins us live at a Middle East bureau there. And where is the fighting taking place, John?
Well, Bill, it's among a cluster of towns and villages along a river, as you mentioned, in the northeastern part of Syria. Take a look at this map. Much of the fighting has been close to a town called Tal Tamer along the Khabur River. It's an area that's really largely been under ISIS control, but now Kurdish forces, the YPG, or People's Protection Unit, along with Christian militiamen, are pushing back. They're engaged in a bloody tug-of-war for control, and at this point we're hearing that those Kurdish forces have retaken about 20 villages and towns in that area, and various human rights groups are reporting that more than 130 ISIS militants have been killed in the fighting at this point. And all that area, as mentioned, is where those Assyrian Christians have been abducted, Bill.
Yeah, any estimates on how many of those Assyrian Christians? We heard 90, we heard 150. What have we learned about their fate, John?
Well, Bill, I just got off the phone with a guy named Sam Edward. He is the director of the Assyrian Human Rights Network. He says the number is at 150, and he says that his wife's aunt is among those who have been taken hostage. He says the men and women have been split up, the men taken to a mountainous area in that region, and the women and children, and by the way, what's distressing is that children are among those who have been abducted. The children and women have been split up and separated into various villages and towns in that area. Now, when I asked him what is ISIS planning to do with them, he says there are three main goals. One, to possibly use them as a bargaining chip to swap for prisoners ISIS militants detained by opposition forces. Two, use them as human shields. And three, to instill terror and fear in all those in that region, Bill.
John, thank you. Something we're keeping a close eye on as best we can. John Huddy in Jerusalem.